Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Well, the Browns linebackers aren't anonymous anymore. Mack Wilson put Nick Chubb into concussion protocol, and the next day he's carted off the field with a leg injury. Now, I'm not into conspiracies that much, but this one looks way too easy. Bud Shaw is here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it is a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive season, and it's powered by cleveland.com. Bud Shaw is here. He's powered by whatever he's got in his hand. Hello, Bud.
LaCroix, brought to you by LaCroix.
Oh, nice. Very nice. You know, I'm thinking of a new feature after 21 years, or 25 years. I'm thinking that you and I should just show up as we do, and then we wait till we get on the air and start giving the gossip of the week.
Well, we could do that, but I think I almost might be onto something, Les. How about if we just do a lot of product placement without asking, and then you send them a bill?
And say, hey, it's right here. It's right here. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. So it's almost, we say into our 25th year, it's almost 25 years. September 1st will make it 25 years. I found a bobblehead, a More Sports and Les Levine bobblehead. I want to give it to somebody, the first person on the phone who calls and tells us who my first guest was in More Sports and Les Levine, the television version.
Wow.
Any idea? Any idea?
No.
We're going back to 96.
Well, I think you have to let these people know that the Les Levine bobblehead looks like a cross between Bob Knight and Bob Baffert.
Right.
So
it didn't.
Well, want to say it's Bob Knight to impress their friends. Not that owning a Les Levine one wouldn't be impressive enough. But
no.
If they want to go the extra step, they could do that.
I think there aren't that many people around who still watch it, so people can just say, I don't know, Phineas T. Bluster. Do you know that reference, by the way?
I do. 25 years
Yeah.
was what year then? Give me the year, because I'm not very good at math.
96. 1996.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what was happening in 1996.
Oh, you'll waste your time, but go ahead.
Okay. It had no relevance to the stories of the day?
When I give you the name, you'll say, oh, yeah, I guess that's part of it.
Okay, but you're not going to say it now, obviously. You'll tell me off the air, because I don't know.
I think somebody will get it. I think there are some wackos out there who've watched every episode, and just to report me to the authorities.
I would have said Kevin Mackey.
Excellent guess, except Mackey, I think, was done by then, was he not? Yeah, 85 was the big year. 86 was the Indiana.
Yes, this was years later.
But that is probably the answer to some quiz that we'll have.
I'll go down the list of people I know it wasn't. It wasn't Albert Bell.
No.
It wasn't Eddie Murray.
Might have been. It wasn't, but it might have been. Oh, now you've given, you guessed everybody. All right, then we ought to come up, and you've heard me say this one 5,000 times, how when people say, how do you do sports in Cleveland when there's no sports or no good teams or no games? And I say, just hang around, and in Cleveland they'll fall on your lap. So today we get Terry Francona. He's going to be out for the Pittsburgh series. And boy, it's not even gossip. I hate to even bring it up, but do you think he can make it through this year? And I mean, as manager and the stuff that goes with it?
Yeah, I mean, he's had difficulties before, obviously, and come back from it. This they're making sound like it was a regularly scheduled procedure or an already scheduled procedure as opposed to, say, an emergency procedure. So, I mean, I'd like to think that this will clear up whatever was bothering him and that he'll be back. But as we know, the clock ticks even faster this season.
Yeah. How about Nick Chubb? How about that? Is that?
I have a theory that Nick Chubb is the perfect teammate. He is. I mean, he's a guy who never raises his voice, never just works hard all the time, doesn't have an ego or doesn't show an ego. And I have a theory that if you mess with a player like that, then the universe responds in some way.
You know, I kidded around with it that there's a conspiracy theory on here as they carted Wilson off the field. Do you really think there's something to that? I mean, do you think it was something other than
we can go
an
back
accident?
and look at the Well, we can go back and look at the tape of the hit on Chubb, and we know that Njoku and a couple of other guys weren't exactly happy with Wilson in that case. But until we see how this happened, you know, he could have just heard it pivoting for all we know.
So Kevin Stefanski comes in and says, "Oh, so this is what happens here. I got it."
Yeah. You know, these things happen in every camp, but the good organizations make sure that they only happen once, right? There's no reason to hit a quarterback. There's no reason to hit a star running back up around the head or shoulders. It's just not, you know, there's no reason for it. And if it happens again, then you start saying, why isn't this being taken care of by the staff?
Yeah, I think there is a reason for it, though. I think that the angles, you know, you get blocked off, and although if you're not hitting, if the quarterback has the shirt on, you're not hitting him. But if you get knocked off a block, it's pretty hard to control as fast as these guys are going. However, this seems like there's something more to it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that. Who knows? I know Mack Wilson was very upset that some fans jumped down his throat, but what we don't know is what the reaction from his teammates were after that.
Well, in Kevin Stefanski's press conference today, he admitted that he was not happy with Mack Wilson, and this is a two-way street here. You got to have good linebackers, which we're not sure that we have or don't have, and you got to find out if the guy you have is the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, Mack Wilson probably still feels like a fifth-round draft pick, even though the Kirksey injury kind of vaulted him into a higher profile position with his team last year. You know, these guys are told every year that, you know, their jobs aren't certain, right? And they better prove themselves every day. So you could see why a guy might get a little overzealous on a practice field, but it's a bad thing to hit anybody up around the head, let alone one of your teammates.
Is it surprising to you that doesn't happen more often with teammates?
Well, yeah, I mean, just because of the grind. Well, in other years, we had the grind of camp, you know, that usually follows the off-season activities, the mini camps, you know, you get to a point in the summertime when it's hot like that and guys are just tired of looking at each other. You can see why it would you know, something like that could accelerate. But like I said, I don't expect. Hopefully, Mack Wilson's fine. He's back on the practice field. But I don't expect this to happen again.
All right, just to clarify the made-up contest that we have, it's one guess per call. So, Bud, I'm giving you one more guess. First guest on More Sports and Less Levine, the television version, September 1st, 96.
I'm going to go with.
You have a bobblehead already, don't you?
I don't.
You're going to go with who?
Mike Hargrove.
Oh, no, but that's a good guess.
Okay.
That's a good guess. 216-575-0403. So Mack Wilson defended himself on Twitter, saying, "I just practice with a lot of passion. My intention is to never hurt anybody on my team or any other player that I'm going up against. When you're good enough, the negative comments to yourself." In other news, this sounds like Seth Meyers. In other news, Mack Wilson was carted off the practice field with a leg injury today.
Mack Wilson's tweet was an answer to a fan tweet that was eloquently put. The guy said, "Mack Wilson is an idiot." So
End of
you're going to get a response from most players if you do that.
216-575-0403 is the number if you want to get in, weigh in. Try just a little fun contest. Who was the first guest on More Sports and Less Levine? And it was not, well, it was Les Levine, but I was a guest at that time. 25 years later, I think I'm more than a guest, but not much more, but more than a guest no matter what. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Bud Shaw is here. We are powered by cleveland.com. Any comments, questions? Address them to us. We'll be happy to take them on for the next hour. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hello, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Lesson, Bud. With Mack Wilson's injury, the Browns' already depleted linebacker core just got a little bit thinner. I want to run by a few names for you guys to see if there's anybody out in the free agency market that the Browns could potentially pick up to bolster their depth at linebacker.
Are you ruling out Wilson right now?
As a defensive end, but he's also got versatility. He's played linebacker with Houston in his career. Jadeveon Clowney, he's 27 years old, 6 NFL seasons with the Texans and Seahawks. He only had 31 tackles, 3 sacks, and 4 fumbles forced in 2019. He's a guy who's had trouble signing with the team this year, but potentially the Browns could still cycle back and look at him as a linebacker this year. Another name, Les, that you've looked at numerous times, Clay Matthews, 34 years old. He's a veteran in the NFL, but could still make an impact on a team willing to take a chance at him. He recorded 8 sacks in 2019, which was his highest total since recording 11 sacks in 2014. A third linebacker who we haven't talked about as much but could still be an interesting name to look at, Alec Ogletree. He spent 7 NFL seasons with the Rams and Giants. He accumulated 80 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, a sack, and an interception in 2019. He's created a lot of turnovers in his career. He's got 12 interceptions, has forced 12 fumbles in 93 career games. A fourth name could be a sneaky addition. News came out that the Canadian Football League is not going to be playing this year. So Nate Holley, who is the CFL's reigning most outstanding rookie, is looking for an NFL team to play with this year. He could be an interesting depth addition. 78 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception with CFL's Calgary Stampeders in 2019. Les, Bud, we're not going to know much about Mack Wilson, what the status is with him, until tomorrow when Kevin Stefanski addresses us. But want to see if there's anybody of that group or anybody else that you could think of that the Browns might want to consider adding to add a little bit more depth to the linebacker core.
Well, I wanted Matthews as a fill-in, a 4th or 5th guy, so I didn't want him as a guy that needed to carry the brunt. Do we have any reason to believe that that injury to Wilson is that serious, or are we just contemplating it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Brian's saying that we don't know the extent of it, but if there is an injury that's going to require him to sit out for a while, where do they stand? It's a legitimate question, Les, because we know, I don't know if it was Pro Football Focus or another one of the websites that ranked the Browns second to last in linebacker core strength right now. Like only the Rams linebackers they found were worse. Now, is that a shot, an unfair shot at that group that hasn't really played together yet? I just think that when you lose Kirksey and Schobert as they did, they really didn't replace him with much. And I understand that's probably where that comes from.
Do you think when those 2 guys were let go that they thought by now they'd have somebody else, or they didn't care, they just said, give me anybody because they're better than these guys?
Yeah, I just think that they look at a lot of, we know enough about this group in Berea to know that they look at things statistically, and that also applies to the cap. And I know they're under the cap. They have they've got money to spend, but I think they look at position groups and they rank them in what they consider importance, and they go about re-signing and looking for free agents.
The good thing about it from our show standpoint is we get to keep recycling the same names and statistics.
Well, the thing that jumped out at me about the Nate Holley one is, and I know Brian has this right because I saw it online today. It lists him as 187 pounds. Wow. Could a guy like that play in a linebacker position of any note in the NFL?
Maybe as a 4th or 5th player, but not as a starter.
Yeah, but I mean, the Rams had him and apparently did like him for some reasons, and he wasn't a whole lot bigger than that. So that's the speculation that maybe the Rams are hurting at that position, and they already have some background with him, and that they might pursue him, especially if he might pursue them if he has multiple.
216-5. Yeah, the story always changes in the NFL. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can also email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Northeast Factory Direct has 3 locations plus a great website that you can't miss. West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard, as well as Freeway Boulevard, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
Flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise. our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Let me take you back to my rookie year. You know, we struggled. We went 0-16, and it was tough. You know, and fast forward now, I just feel like it's in my best interest to stay here for the time being, and try to contribute in any way that I can to help the team win and succeed. So I'm here. I'm excited to be here, and I'm ready to win.
Hey, David, you've always had a great relationship here with the fans, and I'm sure it was, kind of hard on you to take some of that backlash from the fans after the initial trade request. So do you feel like in some ways you have to kind of try to repair your relationship with the fans a little bit and kind of get back in the good graces?
Well, I love the fans. Let me start off by saying that, the Cleveland Browns they're amazing. They're probably second to none. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and this is my life, and I choose to do what I do with my life. Now, with that being said, I am still here. I am a Cleveland Brown, and I am excited to be a Cleveland Brown.
David, I can't get out of my mind. When you say for the time being, it sounds like you think it's temporary. You think this is your last year here?
Oh no, I'm just speaking on today, on now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is my last year here. I'm just talking because all we have is, the present, if that makes any sense.
Well, do you want to be here long term?
Yes, I want to be here long term.
Tony's working it, isn't he?
Well, when a guy feels the need to mention that he was here for the 0-16 season, what I hear between the lines is, who wouldn't want to get out of here,
Right. Or we finish 0-16 with you, we'll do it without you. You know what?
Yeah, listen, he's smart to say what he said today, because we've talked about this, Les. This is a different season. This is a crazy season where attrition is probably going to be far and above what it usually is with injuries on the field. And we're going to see guys get positive COVID tests. We're going to see guys have to get quarantined and leave the team for a certain amount of time. Now, luckily, he isn't one of them. And luckily for him, he won't be one of them. But if I'm him, I stick here. I know the offense. I've been with this quarterback. I know my teammates. This is a weird season to walk into somebody else's camp and think that you're going to suddenly be something there that you're not here.
Yeah, when your
I don't know
skills
if it got to him, but somebody talked some sense to him.
Yeah, when your skill set is opposite of what they're doing, it's hard to come in and once the season starts and try to blend in with everybody. I don't know if you noticed the new thing that we did on that, but we slowed the tape down, and it basically looked like, I can't show it to you, I can formulate it here. It basically was Njoku looking and saying, all right, who's got that sheet where I say all the nice things about the Browns fans? Where is it? Where is that? Do you think they have one sheet of paper that covers everybody, or linemen get this sheet and receivers get that one?
No, I think it's all the same sheet with just different names put in there.
Insert position player here. as you look toward whatever's going to happen here starting in a couple of weeks, assuming that the teams can play in the NFL, have you put it out of your mind that we're playing with questions about whether there's going to be an actual season, or have you kind of moved yourself into a position to try to analyze what's going on based on what's here?
Well, it's like I said, it's so weird and different that, with no preseason games, in this town, Cleveland is so starved for something good to happen that those preseason games become a real drumbeat for the season, right? It doesn't take much, as we saw the year that they went. What did they go undefeated in the preseason?
And I think they won the barge one year.
Yeah. Or how good the offense looked in preseason last year, and that lasted one series against the Tennessee Titans before we started seeing the flaws again. So I think in some ways, people aren't really as attentive, as paying as much attention to the details of what's going on with this team, and they're just kind of waiting for that first game to see if there's even going to be a real season and what kind of shape this team's going to be in by the time it gets there.
Hey, Bud, being the accomplished reporter that you are and have been and will be, you look at things maybe differently than the average fan does. Over the years, have you had a chance to interview somebody where you said, well, he's a much better guy than I thought he was, or he was kind of a jerk, or boy, I wish I had more time? Have you run into anybody like that?
Well, the guy that I thought never really came across very well, but who was not the guy that everybody thought he was when he was here, was Braylon Edwards. And I know that sounds like a crazy suggestion, but he was not the guy that that showed up on camera dressed to the nines and didn't seem to take responsibility for any of his actions. I found him very interesting to talk to, and a pretty good guy, a pretty good teammate at the time.
I think he got filled up with, I think, a little bit with the Ohio State-Michigan thing, and he would have been well served if he didn't do that.
Right. He would have been much better off if he had never even mentioned.
Well, the reason I bring it up is, you hear about guys and you hear good things about them, bad things about them. And as you know, I'm involved in this Parkinson's virtual walk coming up in a couple of weeks, September 13th. And I've had the opportunity to do some half-hour interviews with some athletes, players who either are suffering from Parkinson's or just want to get involved. One guy that I've always heard about being a great guy is basketball player Brian Grant. Do you know anything about him?
I don't, Les, but I've heard similar things about him.
Yeah, he went to Xavier. He's from Cincinnati, the Cincinnati area, and I think he's 48 or 49, and he's suffered with Parkinson's, and he's very well involved. He's involved in, you find a charity in Portland or in Cincinnati, you find a charity, you're going to see his name there. Anyway, we've got Pals in Motion. It's a virtual walk coming up, and it's to improve the lives of those with Parkinson's disease. Go to events.beinmotion.org. The team name is Moving More with Less, and that's Sunday, September 13th. It's the day the Browns play the Ravens, but there's no conflict as far as the time is concerned. And Bud, I just want to thank you and so many other people who have responded, and that's what this is all about, whether it's $2, $5, $10, or just showing up. That's all we can ask for, and we appreciate it very much. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. We are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Bud, one of the biggest weaknesses that I'm sure we can all agree upon with the Indians is the outfield. Their offense is struggling as far as the outfielders are concerned. Franmil Reyes is probably the only one who has been hitting consistently. All other outfielders who have been with the team the whole year are virtually struggling, hitting under 200. Bleacher Report suggests a familiar name that the Indians should try and pursue, who is a free agent still.
Oh my God.
Yasiel Puig. He actually did sign earlier this year with the Atlanta Braves, but he tested positive for coronavirus, so that deal fell through. Assuming he's okay now, the Indians could potentially look to him to possibly fill the void and get an extra offensive bat on the lineup. Yasiel Puig, he's 29 years old. He's played in the MLB for 7 years. Last year, he hit pretty well. He had 24 home runs, 84 RBIs with the Reds and Indians, and he did exceptionally well with the Indians, hitting .297. Lacked the power, but he could still provide an offensive bat that the Indians desperately need. So Les, Bud, what do you think? Should the Indians try and take a look at Yasiel Puig, maybe get one last bat and line up?
But I think you should know the rules that govern this behind the scenes, that if Terry Francona is not at the series in Pittsburgh, it's not a good idea to sign Yasiel Puig and have him come back to that.
Well, the two things that jump out at me are the two homers here, you know.
Yeah.
I know that that's not necessarily the only thing that he brings to a team. He's certainly a good defender. He can run. But that jumped out at me that in his time with the Indians, he only hit 2 home runs.
When they needed, that's the reason they got him.
Yeah, I mean, the other part of it to me is that he's that wild card personality. And this seems to be such a button-down season by necessity because of COVID. I just don't know that you want to bring a guy like that onto this team right now, a team that's already dealing with what to do with Clevenger and Plesac.
Although, let's be fair, when he was brought here last year, that we know of, he didn't cause any problems in the clubhouse or anywhere else, as far as we know.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things that I think happened on the field that they felt the need to talk to him about, as I remember.
There's a ground ball to the pitcher that he didn't run out.
I don't remember the exact instance, but, it certainly is something, everybody else in baseball, too, has had this same chance to sign him, and it hasn't happened, which, leads me to believe that there's a money issue that the Dolans, in particular, are just not willing to take on.
And if you sign him and you have to let him work out for 2 months, the season's over by that time.
Yeah, I don't know what his readiness is. That's a good point, Les. I would think that if he's really been marketing himself to teams, that he's kept himself in pretty good shape. But even then, that we know that that spring training, while it's too long, is not necessarily overrated in preparing guys for seasons.
I know one guy who can hit better than Yasiel, and that would be Devin in Concord. Devin, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing? Welcome to Tuesday.
Yeah. Hey, can I get a hint for your first guest?
First guest in 1995.
Was he like a sports personality, or was he like in the sports, like playing?
But did I say he could have 20 guesses here or not?
He's asking for a hint. Just one hint he's asking for.
Oh, one hint. Well, repeat it.
So was he in a sports personality type, or was he like a player type?
More of a sports personality than a player.
Ah.
I have no idea. I mean,
do I get a second guess?
Yeah, but I'm keeping the bobblehead.
Did you go? I'm going to say that you went Clint Eastwood. You had an empty chair and you talked to it, like at the Republican convention.
No, but Brian walked in with some notes for me during one of the breaks. I says, "You want to take a guess?" He says, "I don't need a guess. I know who it is." This show started. He wasn't born yet, Brian.
Yeah, it wasn't Hal, was it?
No.
No. All right. Yeah, I don't.
That's a good guess, though.
That is a good guess. He was on my show almost every week for a zillion years.
Yeah. Hey, is that Oscar Mercado? Is this experiment going to end anytime soon, or?
This one surprised me. I didn't think he'd be the first one out of the box. Did you, Bud?
I didn't either. No, I was really impressed with him last year, and I always mentioned him as a caveat to saying that they didn't have a very good outfield. I was saying, except for Mercado. Right. I thought that position was answered, and then we see what we see so far this year, and it's a little startling. Maybe it shouldn't be, right? These young players take these steps back all the time, but
yeah, well, they figure out how these guys hit. They have more tape on them. They have more analytics on them. It's not totally surprising, but you would hope he'd be able to adapt to that and swing it around the other way.
Yeah, right.
Hey, and what happened to Wilson today?
Yeah, all we know is he got he got carted off the field.
They're calling it a knee injury, but we don't know exactly what the extent is.
That was yesterday, the knee injury. The knee injury was to... Never mind.
Hey, and does that make any sense? You know how DeWine came out and said, high school sports, contact sports can go ahead. So let me just get this straight. So you can go to school, you got to wear a mask, you can't have a cafeteria, you have to have social distancing, right? So many kids in the classroom, but afterwards we're going to play contact football.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense when you realize how much pressure is being put on the parents, and after that, then the parents putting it on the school boards. It's a perfect storm, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I love these parents that are saying that, schools are safe. How can anybody say that? That schools are safe? I mean, show me some data. Like, how can you say it's safe?
Well, you can't.
I know.
But you can't say walking. But you can't say walking into a convenience store is safe either.
Yeah, but I mean.
No, I'm not trying to make that argument. I'm just saying that's the same argument.
Yeah, I mean the difference I would say is that you're in that convenience store for 5 minutes. You're not in there for 7.5 hours a day. You know,
with constant people coming in the store.
Number of people in the store.
Yeah, and social distancing also. I mean, up until this year, the Browns had social distancing in their linebacking core.
Hey,
I knew that was coming.
Remember the old stadium days? It was social distancing in the stands at the old Cleveland Stadium.
When I first got here in 1991, the first Indians game I went to there were about 50 people in the seats. So
name them all. They were all guests on my first show.
That was the best, though. You could actually go and get a ticket to any game, like, just basically walk up. Like, if you wanted to see a particular player back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you were able to just walk up to the stadium, and then come the third inning, you could walk down to the red seats.
Or into the dugout.
Or into the dugout, right.
It was great for everybody except the guy in charge of selling season tickets.
Right.
I know. And then, those were the days where you had your own vendor. Like, the vendor would just, he wasn't walking around, he just sat next to you.
I got to tell you something. I had a friend, this had to be in the 70s at the old stadium, and we sat in the second last row of the upper deck, and my friend waves, he sees one of the vendors down there, and he waves the guy up, walks all the way to the top, and he says, "When you see the beer man, send me a hot dog."
It's terrible. I know.
All right, we got to go unless you got something full of venom here.
No, I'm good. I'm good, guys.
All right.
All right.
Great to talk to you. Stay safe out there, Devin. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations. They've got them at West 140th near the airport, Lakeland Boulevard and Euclid Freeway Drive, and that, of course, is in Macedonia. Check out the website before you go anywhere to find out about the guaranteed price anywhere else. We'll take a break. Come on back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us. If you missed the beginning, this is the anniversary of More Sports and Less Levine on TV, and that's 25 years into our 25th year. And if you can guess the original guest, the first guest on the show, we'll give you a More Sports and Less Levine bobblehead. We'll take a break. More Sports and Less Levine, powered by cleveland.com.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
18th of August, birthdays for today. The late, great Roberto Clemente died in a plane crash trying to help the disaster in the, was it Nicaragua? I believe so. Joe Askew, the immortal Joe. Clay Potts was born in this day. Greg Pruitt and Bogdanovich and Yu Chang. Number 2 is Yu for the Cleveland Indians. 216-575-0403. Facebook question of the day. If you were the Indians, how would you have handled the situation with Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac? How would you handle it going forward? Larry Pantages says, call a meeting, take a vote, secret ballot, or show of hands. The question is, welcome back or stay home the remainder of the season. To get clarity, decide if the vote needs to be 51% or make it 60 or 75%. There's no doubt about being forgiven or being punished. But I doubt that you can just do that with the Players Association. I don't think you can just take a vote of players, can you?
No, I don't think so, Les. I mean, even if the Indians had decided on their own to send those guys home for the remainder of the season, there'd be a grievance filed by that.
Exactly.
I'm just more surprised that Plesac in particular didn't read the room with his teammates and know that there's no sense blaming the media when your own locker room is angry with you.
Sure. Glenn Berger says it's a tough decision to make. It would appear Clevenger deserves more of a penalty than Plesac does, since he didn't admit to being with Plesac on that fateful night. I'm hoping that both players have learned from this experience and will end up being better teammates. Don't be surprised if Clevenger is traded in the offseason for a good hitter or an outfielder. I think the chances of Clevenger being on this team next year are about the same as my chances. But that's just me.
Yeah, but when you take that step back from it, you say, all right, in the space of 2 years, you will have traded Kluber, Bauer, and Clevenger, and suddenly that strength, the thing you think is what's going to take you to the playoffs and deep into October in most seasons is not there anymore. I would be real reluctant to make that trade based on this situation. Now, right. I know there are salary concerns and contract concerns.
Let's go to Lee. Let's go to Lee. Go ahead.
Guys on this one misstep.
Let's go to Lee, who's in Newton Falls. Lee, good evening. Long time no talk. Go ahead.
Good evening. Great show tonight, Les.
Tonight?
Anytime we got Bud on there and we can look at his den.
Yes, we can.
Look at my bookshelf.
Which is your bookshelf and your up-to-modern glove you have back there.
Thanks.
Brian sort of stole some of what I was going to say about our outfield. So, have you ever seen a worse outfield in the last 50 years than what we have?
There have been a couple of years recently where the Indians toyed with that distinction. So this has been a recurring issue with them, I think, over the last, I don't want to say of all of the last 10 years, but certainly in different seasons over the last 10 years, they've really had a AAA outfield at times.
Yeah, I'd say that in the 60s and 70s, I think you could make that argument easily. And it's not like they hit 50 home runs to make up for it. Go ahead, Lee.
I've got a solution for our outfield problem.
Okay.
I know you'll like this one, Les. We got to go out and get an older veteran player.
Yeah.
Somebody that could help us, could do better than any we got now. That's Casey Blake.
Yeah, except he's a third baseman, but okay.
I thought you were going to say Jay Bruce.
Well, we couldn't get him. We can't afford him.
Yeah.
But I'm talking. Casey
who's that? Jay Bruce?
Yeah. Ronnie Chisenhall.
I got to tell you something about Casey Blake. Casey Blake, arguably, if you write down a list and say average player, you'd have him right near the top of your list, right?
That's correct.
Okay. He made $49 million, but that's another story for another day. I used to rip him. Actually, the fans would rip him on my show, and I took the heat for it. And one night I was in the locker room, and Casey walks up to me and says, can you help me with this USA Today crossword puzzle? And I didn't mess with him. I used the right words. I didn't change it. I didn't change it on him. I give him credit because he could have just taken that paper and whatever.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He was a nice guy, and he was an average player. And if that makes you $50 million in a year or in a career, so be it. More
power to you, right?
We don't have any average players now in the outfield, so.
No, but they're getting paid that kind of money.
We're in the wrong line of work. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Anything else, Lee?
I was going to make a guess.
Go ahead.
Devin took my answer. I was going to guess Hal.
No, it was not. It was not Hal, who continued to do my show, by the way, until he was 89 years old.
Well, that's what I knew.
Yeah.
My second guess is Dan Coughlin.
No.
Huh? Okay.
All right, thanks, Lee.
Good night.
Good night. What was that, Bud?
That was a pretty good guess.
It was a good guess. Could have been either of those.
Basically gave a hint. You're giving away one hint a show, I assume. And
you know what? We put so much research into this. We put so much research into this contest. I don't know how many clues we have. Brian knew. I said, Brian, you want to guess? He says, I know it. It's easy.
Huh.
All right.
Well, I don't want to make my second guess before others have had a chance to. So if it's still not answered,
if it's not right, you can guess all night, I guess.
What if it's right? Then I ruin it for everybody.
Hey, get them in earlier. I'm taking
No,
I'm taking a break so you can formulate your guesses here.
See if it's still unanswered by next Tuesday. I'll have another guess.
All right, we're looking for the first guest on More Sports and Less Levine, the TV show, which was in 1996. Let's take a break. We'll come back in one more time. Do we have quickies? We'll find out when we get back. We do know that we are, of course, operated by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Dennis Maniloff, the D-Man, will join us tomorrow. You see us from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time live. Then you can archive it all day and all night. Dennis Maniloff tomorrow. It will be Mary Kay Cabot on Thursday. 216-575-0403. Bud Shaw is with us now. Bud, I think I've reached the end of the line on quickies, or certain participants in quickies.
Oh, you do have a batch tonight?
Well, I won't call them a batch. Once I toss some of them out, the batch is not the word I would use.
Am I going to have to grade higher than?
Yeah,
than this?
just keep it for a while. All right, first of all, Eastside Eddie sends the same one. I think he thinks there's a prize for it. He keeps sending the same one until we vote for his, even though we don't vote. You grade them, but we don't vote them. And I'm shocked, totally shocked at Mr. Gullible, who sent in two more than questionable how come quickies. And I can't use either one of them. And the thing about it is, Bud, he knows it. He knows I'm not going to use it. I will use Eastside Eddie's even though we've heard them 42 times. How come I will keep sending this until you use it because it's gold? How come my sneaker ad campaign never gained much traction? Little long.
It's a little long.
You didn't see it coming?
I didn't see it coming. I'll go 7.0.
Well, that's going to close out Gullible because if he was going to be higher than 7.0, I guess I would have read him, but there's no reason to now. I think I should just keep them as they stack up, Bud, and give them to you to vote so you can put some sense to this as to whether I'm making the right move or not.
Well, are you ruling out Mr. Goebel's
yes.
entries because of their lewd and
one is, I mean, every time he sends one, they could all be viewed as lewd, I guess. But there's a language thing that he plays with that. I mean, listen, I'm a big boy. I've heard most of these words. I don't need to hear it on my show.
Yeah.
On its 25th anniversary.
You're a guy who has closed teams, right? I mean, you have presided over teams that have folded, right? So you have folded teams.
I folded teams. What can they do to me?
Right, but you don't want to be the guy who lost his show because
yeah, you don't want to lose a How Come Quickie segment of the show either.
If you're going to fold this show, Les, it should be on your own merit.
Let's go to Bob, who's in Warren. Bob, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hold
How
it.
are you,
Hold it.
gentlemen?
I'm doing well, and Bud's doing well. We're going to have a new show. Fold that show. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I believe Michael Regai may have been your first guest.
Not only may have been my first guest, he was my first guest.
What?
Well, I'm a long-time listener and viewer of yours, and I just figured that's who it was. I remember you talking about it.
You don't have anything better to remember than who my first guest was?
Well, during COVID, you just relive things.
Yeah, that you hope.
Yes,
All right,
that is true.
we're gonna put you on hold. We have the capacity to put him on hold and take his name and number, and we can send him a How Come Quickie bobblehead.
Yes.
Oh, my son's going to be thrilled when he sees it.
Oh, you won't be, but he will be.
Oh, well, I'm excited, but he'll be thrilled because he laughs at me because I spend so much time listening to you guys.
All right, I'll tell you what. That was an easy one. Michael Regai was the first guest. Now name the cable systems we've been on.
Oh, boy. Well, you were on Time Warner.
I was kidding. I was just kidding.
We only have an hour, Bob.
Oh, yeah, I don't have enough bobbleheads.
It's just like a quickie. Make it quick. I understand.
There you go. All right, we're going to put you on hold, and we'll send it to you, okay?
All right, thanks, Les.
So, Mike in the back. Mike, you were actually going to call Michael Regai and have him guess, right?
I was.
What do you think? Do you think he would have remembered?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he would have.
Is there a backstory, Les, as to why Michael was your first guest?
Yeah, the Cavs, we were on Fox Sports, what became Fox Sports, and we did the Cavaliers. This would have been before LeBron or not? 96? Well,
no, LeBron would have come in. He would have been there.
he would have been there already.
No, he wasn't.
No.
There yet.
Oh, way before. Yeah, way before. No, I think they just wanted to promote the show and the and the games that they had. They had me on an Indians game. John Sanders and Rick Manning did it, and they were gonna. I said, "How long am I going to be on?" And they said, "Half an inning, whether it's 1, 2, 3 or it's 20 hits in the inning." 4 pitches later, that was my promo. I was done. Thanks for being on. Oh, was I on? I didn't know that.
Fastest inning in baseball history.
Right. Yeah. All right. Are we done? Somebody tell me. I lost track. We're done. All right. We're done. As always, Bud, great job. Love you.
Right,
Love you, babe.
We know that we don't know whether Regai would have remembered being your first guest. We do know that Clark Kellogg did remember doing TV with you, right?
Yeah, well, sort of. I thought it was the first game he ever did, and it turned out it was the second. Denny Schreiner got one in before me.
Close enough.
I thought it was like, Bob Feller, somebody, the scout, Cy-Slap Nicka, the scout, sees him and says, sign him, he's going to the Hall of Fame. That's what I said about Clark Kellogg. I just forgot that it should have been Denny Schreiner who said it. All right, I got to go. And by the way, the second Clark Kellogg opened his mouth, you knew.
Yeah, he's good.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Bud Shaw. Thanks to Brian in the back, who's emerging as a superstar. And, of course...
Great job, Brian.
And Mike Bacon and the whole Bacon Bit family. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.